Hi, my name is Jennifer Ortiz, and I have a small jewelry business called Jalor Jewelry. I hand make jewelry, bold, kind of crazy designs. I'm wearing some examples here, and so I'm excited to just chat with you all today and talk a little bit about my process of becoming a jewelry artist. So as you can see behind me, this is my studio space. It's literally half of an office in my home, but just having my dedicated spaces. So really critical for me in order to get my work done and to do the kind of work that I want to do. But just having that dedicated space has been so critical in making sure that I'm able to set aside the time and energy to go ahead and make jewelry every day. So just a few questions I know you all had. So it's interesting, when I was asked to do this, I don't actually consider myself an artist. I actually work full-time for the Utah Division of Arts and Museums. I run our museum services program, so I get to work with museums all across the state and within the region. I work really closely with the Springville Museum of Art, so this is such an honor and really cool to get to be representing a different part of me to your guys' community. So the question of, when did I or why did I choose to become an artist is kind of funny because it's not my full-time job, and for a lot of artists it's not their full-time job, but my interest in art started at a really early age. I was always doing some sort of art and artwork just as a creative outlet, and fell into jewelry making when I was about 11 and 12. Actually recently found my first piece of jewelry, and I wanted to show it to you today, but couldn't find it, that I made, and it's just this like funny wired piece of jewelry, but it's really cool to see work that you've started working on at a young age. It made me smile and getting ready to answer some of these questions. And so my interest started at a young age, but it was really just my outlet for fun. And as I got older and went to school and graduate school, it really became an outlet for stress, and so stress relief. So I was able to make jewelry just on the side, just to, decompress and have fun and do something that wasn't a part of my sort of everyday work. And so that was something that was really important to me and continues to be an outlet for me, even though I'm able to sell my jewelry in markets and in stores locally. It still is my avenue for stress relief and something fun I get to do. One of the questions was, how did you choose your specific medium and style of creating art, and how long did it take you to find your niche? It's an ongoing process. I don't feel like I have my niche found. One of the things that I like to consider about my work is that it's really more of a generalist. Like I enjoy working in polymer clay, but I'm also working a lot in textiles and like reclaimed vintage pieces of jewelry that I deconstruct and then reconstruct to represent something more contemporary. It's more of like working with different materials, seeing what I'm comfortable with, seeing what maybe comes naturally and what I also want to learn. That's part of my process, is like, how much can I learn as a part of this work? And that has been really important to me as I make jewelry. And just explore other avenues of art. I've also learned recently during the pandemic how to weave. I had a good friend, Danielle Susie, teach me how to weave, and have been incorporating that into my jewelry making, which is really something new for me, but also, again, an opportunity to learn and sort of cultivate my my jewelry making skills, which is really great. Let's see, for my medium or style, my favorite techniques, tips, or tricks. So again, doing your research and like following the people that have, a style that you love, like if you find somebody on Instagram or just social media generally, looking at what else is out there. I definitely am inspired by other artists, and of course not taking their artwork or trying to replicate it, but being inspired and seeing what they're doing with their work. How they're pushing the boundary and maybe how I can build off of that. I've definitely learned techniques from other polymer jewelry artists, but I've also, have cultivated my own just by, taking what I see out there and also being inspired by the world around me. It's been really important for me in the jewelry that I make because I love vintage clothes and vintage jewelry. It's important for reuse in my work, and so that's what I've focused on a lot, is like reusing materials that would either otherwise end up in the dump, trying to take some of that and incorporating it into the work that I do and the jewelry that I make, and giving it new life, and hopefully finding a home for itself in the future. Let's see. How did you learn to have confidence in your artwork and stop comparing yourselves to other artists? That is a great question, because that is something I personally struggle with all the time, and it is sort of an ongoing thing. This idea of confidence and building up your confidence, it's work. It requires effort. One of the things that has been really good for me has been putting myself out there and getting my jewelry into markets like Craft Lake City and local museum stores and boutiques. It is trial and error, honestly, and putting yourself out there and talking yourself up and making sure that yes, it's scary, but also knowing that when you walk away, you've done it. That helps build up your confidence. And so it's hard to not compare yourself to others, but that's why it is so important to find your niche, and find the things that you love and love to spend time cultivating. That's what I've spent a lot of my energy and time doing. What do I wish I knew in high school about making art? A lot. I think that being myself is really important, and that's something that I wish I would have known more in high school, of just like owning who I am, and the fact that like I love bright colors, I love bold styles, and maybe that doesn't fit in necessarily to where I'm at in that moment in time, but that's okay. That's something that I wish somebody would have told me. It would have made a huge difference for me in high school, to remind myself that it's okay to be me. And as cliche as that sounds, I think that that's something so critical to hear when you're 13, 14, 15, and beyond, to be yourself and to embrace that is a really important thing. And my advice for all the high schoolers who may be watching this messy video of mine, as you continue to make art and pursue art careers, whatever that might be, I just want you to know, like, it's okay that you might not be doing this full time. It's a side project. Do it because you love it. And if you are able to cultivate, people who want to buy your artwork, or, are interested in showing your work in a gallery, like, that's great. But you really, to build up your confidence, you need to truly love it. You need to feel it here. I don't do this full time. It's a side gig for me, side project, and I do it because I love it. People ask me, like, how do you have the time when you are working 40 plus hours a week, with everything else? And it's because I love it. It's my outlet. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. And so, as you continue to cultivate your own practice, whether that is, fiber arts, painting, drawing, jewelry making, find who you are and channel that into the work that you do. I'm going to quickly show you just a little bit of my quote-unquote studio, because that was something that when I was asked to do this, I laughed and said, well, I don't have a studio space to show, but maybe that might be important for somebody who's just starting out, who wants to see, what kind of space do you need to do this kind of work. So I'm going to flip us around. So this is my studio space, but I just keep all my tools and stuff hanging out, really readily accessed. This is also the cleanest you'll ever see my workbench. And I laid out kind of some of the work that I do. This is some of the polymer clay that I mentioned earlier, earrings, and then learning how to weave, making earrings out of that, experimenting with it. And then more recently, I've gotten into some rope work. This is a necklace, so using materials that are maybe not typical for jewelry making. I don't use any fine materials. I don't work in silver or gold. It's really like more readily accessible things, so I can trial and error and decide, what is it that I want to do and what do what do I enjoy working with? And so trying to incorporate different kinds of materials into my design. Everything is very bright and bold and colorful. So again, finding your niche, it's not for everyone, but it is for me, and I love making it. So those are the things that I enjoy doing, and I hope that has helped inspire you a little bit.